I think we can all agree 2016 has been a crazy year in the news.
And we've seen journalists all over the world have to report on some pretty traumatic stuff. And they've had to do so while reporting live and on deadline.
The death toll has risen overnight from a suspected Islamic State suicide attack at Istanbul's Ataturk airport. 41 people were killed.
Well, this is certainly the sort of news that you don't want to believe is true, but Prince has died at the age of 57 years old.
Update you on the breaking news out of Orlando, the terror attack on a gay nightclub.
Appears to be the deadliest terror attack on American soil since 9/11.
We've seen some journalists struggle fighting back tears on screen.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with their names. The names of the 48 out of 49 people who have so far been identified. Antonio Devon Brown was a captain in the, was a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve and a graduate of Florida A&M. He was 29. Alejandro Barrios Martinez was 21. Joel Rayon Paniagua was 32. Jean Nieves Rodriguez was 27. We don't have pictures of these people. Il-Marie Rodriguez Sullivan was 24, and Paul Terrell Henry was 41 years old. We think it's important that you hear their names.
And we've also seen some pretty bad examples of reporting, where, when desperate to file a breaking news story, journalists have forgotten to report with empathy.
And the landlord has invited you and all the other media in, is that correct?
We watched him come back with a crowbar, and he worked to get it out. Finally, they got out a drill, and they opened up the door that had been barricaded with a big piece of wood. They opened that up, and then everyone came.
I'm really shocked here that the police, if the police are watching this right now, they better be on their way down there to be able to stop this from happening, because this is, I'm shaking over it. That's how irresponsible this is by law enforcement.
This had us thinking, in the face of such unrest, how can a journalist balance reporting the facts while offering a humane response? Are we reporting with enough empathy? And if not, is it time to rethink the way tragedies and traumas are covered?
Journalist P. Kim Bui thinks so. In a recent article, she predicted that 2016 would be the year the media needs to remember how to feel something.
The Eiffel Tower was lit up in red, white and blue, which I think is a sign of hope. Sorry. So sorry.
Graham.
And I will leave it there. There is certainly hope here in Paris, but that is back to you.
Graham, thank you very much indeed. And I know it has been a hugely difficult, distressing time for everybody who has been involved in that story.
Newsrooms have always been places where feelings and emotions are swept under the carpet. Journalists are tough people, and after covering a traumatic story, they're expected to move on. But this is no longer enough.
If we continue to report like this, the media is going to lose a lot of trust and respect. And when the world is as uncertain as it is, trust between colleagues, our sources, and the citizen journalists that we're relying upon out in the field to give us eyewitness information, well, trust is something that we need.
Is it simply enough to report the facts? What could we achieve by bringing a greater sense of empathy to our stories and to those they involve?
This is a conversation that we think needs starting. Because as young journalists about to enter the industry, we want to feel confident that we have the tools required to tackle stories of trauma and tragedy with respect and eloquence.
And after having a hard day, we want to feel like we can come back to the newsroom and talk about it.
Like a baby.
I'm not a baby, I'm a man!
2016 has thrown the media a couple of curveballs, but we think now is the perfect time to stop and reflect on the nature of journalism and the way that we're reporting on tragedy.
How can we, in 2016, bring a greater sense of empathy to journalism?